Happy Saturday. It's Renee. Gil is driving. We thought we would be at our destination, but we are not. So to keep our word, I am going live. My name is Renee and Gil is my husband. Today's episode, I think it's going to be one that is going to be very beneficial to my soul to share and to your ears to hear and to your life if you apply it. So I'm gonna start off with story time. Basically, those of you who know us, we're Gil Renée of the RICH Relationships Refuge. We've been married for 36 years. But what you don't know is some stuff about my backstory. I am the oldest child. My mother was killed by a serial killer when I was 23 years old. And so I believe that I am a really good example of what it means to know the difference between boundaries and grudges. And so why do you say that? When your parent has been murdered by a serial killer, how many of you would actually be able to forgive? How many of you would actually be able to not let go of the pain, but to let go of the desire to get revenge? And so I want to just talk about that today. So today's episode is the difference between, are you holding a grudge or are you setting boundaries? It's so very, 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 very important to us that we know the difference, because I think we live in a society and in a generation where we think that we are setting boundaries, but what we're really doing is holding grudges. And so how do you know the difference? Well, when my mom got killed, I had just given my heart to the Lord. And I'm so grateful for the gospel. I'm so grateful for salvation. And so my giving my heart to the Lord was a good choice, because when the opportunity come to forgive, I was just forgiven. And so because God had just forgiven me, it was easier for me to then give forgiveness. Does that mean it didn't hurt and I wasn't mad and I wasn't angry and I wasn't disappointed? No, I was all of those things. But the difference between a grudge and a boundary is that, and I've said it before, is that a boundary is an inward swinging door. Boundaries are what we have set on our own hearts to keep us from overdoing it or over serving, or you can overdo anything. And so a boundary says, I'm going to set a limit on my time, my energy, my resources, and my attention. And so a boundary is for you. And so the difference between a boundary and a grudge is you hurt me, and so therefore I'm going to hurt you like you hurt me. And so that was my first lesson of forgiveness, was when my mom got murdered by the serial killer, me forgiving him. And then I've had countless other examples in my life where I've had to forgive. I've had to forgive family members. I've had to forgive Gil. I've had to forgive myself. I've had to forgive our daughter, my sisters, my brothers, my cousins, my aunts, my uncles. And that looks different in every single relationship. And the reason why I thought this episode was important is because, again, I'm 57. And so our idea of dealing with conflict and dealing with disappointment is different from this generation, because in our generation growing up, we didn't have therapy. We didn't go to therapy. We didn't have therapists. We had to learn how to deal with things from a biblical perspective and also from understanding psychology and human behavior. And so I understand that setting a boundary means that if I see that you treat yourself poorly, I am not going to allow you to treat me poorly. Does that mean I'm going to cut you off? And does that mean that I'm going to not have anything to do with you? Does that mean that I'm going to cancel you from my life? No, that's not what that means. Setting a boundary means that one of the things I love, our pastor when we were in Louisiana, he talked about the difference between building bridges and building walls. A boundary is saying that I will reciprocate, I will not initiate. So if I'm setting a boundary in a relationship with someone who's hurt me or like the guy who killed my mom, I forgave him, but that does not mean I was going to have dinner with him. That does not mean that I was going to build a relationship with him. So forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. And we're not talking about some toxic idea that people can do anything to you. We're not talking about that. We're talking about understanding that forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness takes one person. I had to make the decision myself that when things have happened, when people have hurt me and disappointed me and broken my heart, to acknowledge that it hurt me, it disappointed me, and it broke my heart. But in some relationships, you have to understand that sometimes forgiveness is not going to mean that it doesn't mean that everything is, forgiveness does not mean that what they did was right. Forgiveness does not mean that that person should have access to you again. Forgiveness does not mean that everything that happens is just going to go away. But what forgiveness means is it's a new day. He says his mercies are new every single day. So if it's a new day, then I have to give you an opportunity to show me something different. So forgiveness does not mean that you get the chance to go right back to where we were before. If you break the trust, if you break someone's heart, if you disappoint them, it's up to you, the person who causes the offense, to work on building that relationship and building that bridge. And so if I break someone's heart, if I hurt someone, it's my job to go to them, because the Bible says if you have a heart against your brother, go to your brother. So if I have a heart against someone, I need to go to them and I need to try to rebuild it. I need to let them know, hey, I'm sorry, that was wrong, please forgive me. That person can decide, I don't want to have a relationship with you again. And that is the thing that we have to understand. Forgiveness does not mean that it's going to repair the relationship. It doesn't mean the relationship is going to be the way that it was before, because sometimes, depending on the condition of the heart, and I think it's important for us to understand when it comes to grudges and boundaries, is that it's a heart posture. We have some scriptures. A grudge is basically, it's bitterness. Ephesians 4:3, it talks about bitterness and not allowing bitterness to build up in your heart. And so we need to understand that a boundary is basically wisdom and love. Proverbs 4:23. So it's important that we have biblical references for how we're navigating our life, because so many times we know the Bible stories, we don't think about the Bible principles. And so again, so when it comes to building bridges and versus building walls and building boundaries and holding grudges, a grudge, it was going to make you angry. It's going to make you bitter. It's going to make you isolated. It's going to make you untrust. It's going to make you have issues with trust. And so if you start living your life holding grudges, you're going to miss out on the beauty of building relationships. So whereas boundaries make you free, grudges bind you in, and they keep you from being open to relationships. Because I could have had the mindset that when my mother got murdered, that I was going to hate all men and I wasn't going to trust all men and that all men were bad. That's not true, because our experience shouldn't dictate everybody's. You shouldn't group everyone together because of one. There's a thing when I was younger, don't throw out the baby with the water. It's understanding that things are going to happen. People are going to hurt us. They're going to disappoint us. They're going to break our heart. But the Bible says his mercies are new every morning. So giving people an opportunity to re-engage again, giving an opportunity to show you something different. Because I understand that I've hurt people. I've broken people's heart. I've disappointed people. And so I want to be able to, I want to reap what I've sown. So when I've hurt, I want to make sure I ask for forgiveness. I want to make sure that I try to rebuild those relationships. But there are relationships in your life when trust has been broken or when you've been betrayed or heartbroken that you may not, that's your choice. And so I think it's important that we understand that as humans, holding grudges come natural. How many of you realize that holding grudges come natural? And at some point, depending on where you are in your walk, holding grudges can feel good because you feel like you're punishing the person. You feel like you're getting them back. You feel like you're giving them a consequence. The only person we can give consequences to, other than our children when they're children, is ourselves. And so that's where the boundaries come in, as far as making sure that we're setting healthy boundaries within our own heart, and that we're not trying to regulate other people. Because we were just in the car, our friends are here. Oh, I'm gonna let them get in the car. Get in the car. Hey guys. I want them to get in the car. Y'all get in. Hey, family. Get in. Get in. Okay, so they're gonna wait. But I know we said we were gonna go live today, and we're still driving, we're still in traffic, and so I didn't want to not keep our word. I will put these notes in here too. So I want you to make sure that you understand that each has a fruit, that grudges and boundaries both produce something in your life. Grudges produce bitterness, gossip, and distance. Boundaries create peace, clarity, and protection. And so I just think it's important that we are also mindful of the conversations that we're having with ourselves. And so I want to make sure that we wrap this up and we kind of get some things that we should start saying to ourselves about ourselves, and ask these questions of ourselves. 3 questions that I always say that it's important for you to ask yourself. Who told you that? Who hurt you? And how do you make the people around you feel? Those are important questions that you should ask yourself in order for you to be able to govern yourself and not go through life thinking that it's your job to regulate the world without regulating yourself. Some other things that I want to give you, some powerful things that you can put in your vocabulary and to start change your mindset is, what advice would you give to a friend? Because most people say, well, if it was me. So the question I want you to say, when the situation happens, you find yourself in a situation where you have a choice between a boundary or a grudge, that you say, what advice would you give? What advice would you like to get? Mistakes are a part of the process. People are going to fail you. They're going to hurt you. They're going to disappoint you. One of the things I love that Claudette taught me was, I'm going to hurt you and you're going to hurt me. But guess what? We're going to forgive each other and we're going to work through it. That's a part of being in relationships. It's not intentional. Something else is be the change. Be the change you want to see. We always say the hard thing and the right thing are the same thing. And so we have to learn how to do the right thing. It's important to understand that we have to attack the problem and not the person. Things that happen in relationships are a part of people being human, and being mindful of that and making sure that you're always attacking the problem and not the person. And so I just wanted to just make sure that we went live today because we said we would. We are going to be in Houston. So if you are there, put a message in the inbox. We want to see you, want to connect with you. We love you guys. We want to make sure that you're building healthy relationships, and you're building healthy relationships by protecting your peace, by being the change you want to see, by making sure you attack the problem and not the person, and that you understand that in relationships things are going to go sideways, and we're going to learn how to be resilient by forgiving, by walking in peace, and by walking in God's purpose for our lives. So we love you guys, and I will let everybody get back in the car because I don't want them standing in the heat, and we will see you guys next Saturday, since we didn't go live together this Saturday. Love you guys. See you guys later. Bye.